astronomy, pero with a romantic twist. So I thought about stars, and then I thought about love. So I came up with double stars. These are stars that come together in pairs. So I'm going to use them as a metaphor for relationships. So that's the journey we'll have. We know stars. We know our parent star, the sun. And then if we look up at the sky, we see the stars. Essentially, our sun is just a normal star, and our galaxy is billions and billions of stars. And that's what we see in the dark night. Unfortunately, in the city, we don't see so many stars anymore. That's because of the light all around, like pollution. So we have to get out of the city. And actually, there's this nice place in Tanay, Rizal. So very, in a way, accessible. Pero actually, parang we have to go there. There's a Big Hands Ground. So it's called Big Hands Grounds, and there you can see the Milky Way. It's really cool. And then of course you go to the resorts, ganyan. Although it has to be really, it just really has to be dark. Now in a very dark night, you see thousands of stars, and actually thousands of stars. And most of these stars, I actually estimated half of these stars are actually double stars. Our sun, we don't think it comes in a double. It was hypothesized, but we haven't found one yet. So malamang single siya. Pero it's not uncommon. Almost half of the stars, like our sun, have actually pairs. Now, the stars that are actually together are in a sort of, they make a gravitational dance. They're in a gravitational embrace. So they actually go or orbit around a common center of mass, like this. And these are called binary stars. Binary stars, to distinguish them from optical double stars. So they're optical, like we see them together, right? But when we check, they're actually not together. They're light years apart, right? So they're not really gravitationally bound. Nagkataon lang, they were in the same part of the sky from our point of view, right? When we see the stars, we don't know how far they are from us, right? We just know that they're there. So, for example, the constellations, most of them are not really groups of stars. They just happen to be aligned and make those shapes from our point of view. So it's a very special point of view. Pero when we check, there are really stars that orbit around one another. These are the binary stars. So my first question is, this pala, I inserted from the Facebook thread when commented on this event, gave us this very powerful quote. Hindi ako sa kanya, so anonymous. Pero yes, that's the metaphor, di ba? In this case, gravity is parang the force that holds these stars together. Pero kung if you're not really, you just happen to be passing, you just happen to be aligned from one point of view or for a certain moment in time, so you're not really bound together, di ba? So, my first question is, are you in a pair that's just optically double, or is it really gravitationally bound? So, in general, are you in a binary system or single? And do you want to be? And then maybe the more important question is, which kind of relationship is this, or which kind of binary system? So I'm not going into fiction here. I'm really going to tell you about the real binary star systems and how they evolve. So, pero interestingly, we a metaphor for relationships. So let's see. We classify binary stars based on how far they are from one another, how far the two stars are. So in a way, the simplest or the most boring kind are the ones that are close. They're actually orbiting one another, but not too close. So they're actually called detached binary stars. So they orbit around one another. And these orbits can be as long as hundreds of thousands of years. So it's really stable. And then it becomes interesting, right? Because the two stars can be different. So in this case, actually stars, there's different kinds of stars. And one way they're different is from their color. So when you actually look very closely, some stars you can see are blue and some stars are red. And that's because their temperatures are different. The bluer ones are hotter and then the red ones. So we can have a binary star system with a red star and a blue star. Actually, any combination. And it would be interesting, right? If you live in a planet that's actually going around the binary stars. And we found these planets. They're called circumbinary planets. So parang Tatooine from the Star Wars and the other fiction. But we've started to find them. And this is an artist's impression of, if you're not in a planet, actually you're in a moon of this planet, which is orbiting around a triple or double star system. So you actually see two suns in the sky. This is the first multi-planetary system that's orbiting around a binary star that was found. So it was called Kepler 47, because Kepler is the telescope. But these are the orbits. Hindi siya ganun ka-clear, pero actually these are the two stars. So they're in a gravitational embrace. But far out are orbits of the planets that are going around them. And then, so there's this planet here, and then there's this planet here. And for comparison, these are the orbits of our own solar system. So if this is the sun is in the center, this is where Mercury will be, this is Venus and Earth. So it's actually very similar. And the interesting thing also is there's a habitable zone, not too hot, not too cold, for water to be liquid, which as far as we know, is important for life. And this one planet, so this one is too close, so it's too hot. But this one planet is actually on the inside the habitable zone of this solar system. And then these just compare. They're actually much bigger than Earth because it's easier to find bigger planets. But as we look more and as we have more powerful instruments, the hope is we actually find more and more Earth-like planets. That's where it becomes more interesting because we can also find traces of life. Probably, possibly in our lifetime. So that's where this is really a booming field of astrophysics. Okay. So basically, just to wrap that part up, and then maybe later we can have a discussion on metaphors, because you might be better than me. But essentially, it's actually a good relationship, right? It's stable, and then you can have family around. So, and even multiple planets or multiple children or multiple friends surrounding your relationship. And in fact, if we push the metaphor further, it's like the stars actually shine and give life to the planets around them, which is essentially, or life on Earth is the energy source is from the sun. The sun shines on the plants make photosynthesize to make sugar. The animals eat the plants, we eat the animals, and the plants, and so on.